address us. Ministers.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Halim Kadir, President of Taman Bacaan, Pastor Andrew Koo, Executive Director of New Hope Community Services, Dr. Badrun Nafis, the Chairman of AMP and also Chairman of ACG, Madam Zuraida Abdullah, CEO of Mendaki, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Ali, Vice Chairman of RRG and ACG members. I know that you are at Masjid Hadijah. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you are enjoying the session. I can take off. Okay. Thank you to all our RRG and also ACG members who are at the Masjid Hadijah, particularly majority are the RRG members. I am very inspired by you, since I known the inception or the formation of organizations like ACG and RRG. I've been inspired by your hard work. I want to thank you. And COVID, not COVID, you have been working very hard. So from my heart to yours, thank you, and really honored and appreciate you joining us this evening. And also students from NIE, Malay Specialisation Unit, thank you for being with us. As what Encik Halim shared earlier, I think it's good you are able to come and have this platform as part of your learning journey and engagement. And you from APY, really thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are joining us via the social media, I hope you also have been following and learning something from it. I'm very happy to be able to join you today for the Taman Bacaan Hybrid Seminar for Youth. I thank Taman Bacaan, the ACG and the RRG for inviting me to this seminar. I remember I came here a few months ago, where we also spoke something about how women can play a part in counterterrorism as part of the rehab process. And I'm happy today we are able to continue this journey. It's very important. And I've worked, like what I said earlier, with all of them for various events throughout the pandemic period. And it is not an easy task to organize any event while we are still in the pandemic. You not only organize, you think of avenues, how to engage. You have used online platforms, right? And making sure that while during the pandemic, there are other outlets or avenues or vehicles where people look at, but you also want to bring out that positive message, which I think I'm very inspired. And I'm like what I said, I'm very encouraged to see not only you are here and also at Masjid Hadijah, as well as those you out there following us via online. I hope the presentation today will provide you with insight on how we can strengthen Singapore's social cohesion post-pandemic. It's very important because many Singaporeans and everyone across the world, around the world, have been significantly impacted during the pandemic, including losing loved ones to COVID. I know people who have lost their loved ones to COVID. And it really goes deep into my heart. And I feel for the family. Someone I know and someone who I used to see at community events lost to COVID. And also, there are among us who lost their jobs and missing our family members and friends overseas, Some still waiting for their family members to come back. Some waiting to go back. So many of us have been affected by it. And in particular, the social restrictions and lockdowns have affected Singapore's social dynamics and could generate anxiety and distrust within the social fabric. This is something that we observe, and I think something that we must together address it and manage it as a society. Indeed, we will face many obstacles on the road to recovery from the pandemic. It will also test our ability to safeguard our social cohesion. Hence, we must face this unprecedented crisis together and walk the road to recovery hand in hand, regardless of our background. This is the Singapore spirit, that we want to make sure we walk hand in hand, regardless of the background of people. And this Singapore spirit will bring us further and further away, so that we can progress together. As youths, all of you play a very critical role in ensuring that our social cohesion and resilience are not impacted during the pandemic. It is in time of stress like this that racial fault lines can rear its ugly head, when we forget to be gracious and respectful to one another. I call upon each of you to play your part and contribute in your own ways, whether big or small, in your ways and means, whatever you can do, whether through volunteerism or otherwise, to safeguard our communal harmony and social cohesion. Play your part. Start even in your family, in the community, and beyond. See how you can play your part in it. And every single way is very important. In addition to our fight against COVID-19, our threat landscape has also evolved. The world has to grapple with the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan, which is becoming a security concern for Singapore and the region. I've received quite a fair bit of feedback from Singaporeans. They are concerned about what's happening there. The situation in Afghanistan could provide fertile conditions for transnational terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria to regroup and establish safe havens. Radicals from Southeast Asia may also be inspired to travel to Afghanistan to take up arms with militant groups there, just as Jemaah Islamiyah members had done so in the past. This is something that we must also reflect upon and realize there are such possibilities. And I'm happy that when such developments happen, when I went to the ground, speak to people, because of our efforts that we have been doing all these years, Singaporeans begin to recognize of such possibilities. That means they are aware, they are also the so-called show the outcome of what we have done all these years. And our society have been able to understand how such developments will impact a country like Singapore. So the developments in Afghanistan have also galvanized some violent extremist groups in the region who see the Taliban takeover as a clear propaganda victory that can be used to draw recruits to their causes. To this end, some have disseminated ideological narratives on social media portraying the Taliban's return to power as a victory for the establishment of an Islamic State. Singaporeans must be on guard against falling prey to distorted narratives, particularly those which capitalize on world events to promote a violent agenda or an extremist cause. Similarly, we must draw the line against engaging in any action, including making online postings that support or promote the use of violence or that threaten our communal harmony and social fabric. This is what I hope that as future educators, something that we want to promote harmony, being compassionate to one another, taking care of one another, and making sure every single moment we focus on building our homeland Singapore. Social cohesion did not come naturally for the multiracial and multi-religious Singapore. We all know that. Race and religion are natural fault lines, and our political leaders and forefathers have worked hard at it over the decades. And if we speak to our parents, grandparents, they would share with us how hard they have worked, how they have been able to look at Singapore as a multiracial society, and it's always a work in progress, and how we have arrived here. The peace and harmony that you and I enjoy today is the hard work of our pioneer and Merdeka generation. We should value and protect this for future generations to benefit. And they in turn will say, we, together with the Merdeka generation and the pioneer generation, have built what they are benefiting. So we have a role to play. And Singapore is fortunate to have organizations such as Taman Bacaan, the ACG, and the RRG, which have spared no effort in partnering the community and the Singapore government to safeguard our communal harmony. This, when I opened up my speech earlier, I shared with you how they have worked very hard. Behind the scene, you know, a few group of good men and women having the thought for the community and the Singapore society, and trying to preempt what negative elements may be out there, and they provide that alternative options of positive elements in our nation building. I sincerely admire them and inspired by what they do. I would also like to commend the efforts of the New Hope Community Services for its enduring efforts to preserve our race and religious harmony through its various community initiatives. Pastor is not new to me. Pastor has been working very hard on the ground, and he walks the talk. He's someone who really helps many people, regardless of race, language, or religion. So I'm very happy to see Pastor today, and he's a good friend of mine as well. Lastly, let me thank again Pastor Andrew Koo for collaborating with Taman Bacaan, the ACG, and the RRG to organize such an important and insightful seminar that addresses the important issues of safeguarding our beloved Singapore's social cohesion and resilience. This is very important. And, you know, I heard that you had a great session earlier, sharing by our speakers. And I think we can continue the discussion, and I look forward to a nice dialogue and discussion with you. On that note, thank you very much. And let's continue what we have started. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.